Get started with this very large Zoom, which is new to me. A couple of nuts and bolts before we even get to introductions. We're all gonna just stay muted today as you've done really well. At the end, I'm gonna run through a few things, and at the end there is plenty of question and answer time. So I might suggest, if you have a minute while I'm doing some introductions, grab a pen and paper, scratch paper, anything where if there's anything you want to know, we can take questions at the end this evening. I just think it runs a little better, and we'll go through it pretty quickly. Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. Everything is new, and I know that you know that, and it's one of sort of our themes this evening. Tonight's going to be different than most orientations, not just that it's on Zoom, but it's a lot of me talking. I like that. My husband, not so much. It might sound a little preachy as we go through, and I just want you to keep in mind this is my first big Zoom like this, so I hope that you can bear with me on that. And again, we have questions at the end. Tonight is about mindset, structure, and coming together to help these kids. I think we're all aware, every single person in this room, and I'll talk about it in the presentation, that as hard as everything is for all of us as adults, our kids are the ones that are doing the heavy lifting here. And that's something that I can tell you my entire team shares and takes very seriously. We will have more nuts and bolts meetings coming up. My goal is to do at least one meeting a week. I'm hoping I can keep up with that pace as we start the year. So we'll have specific grade level meetings and specific parent nights and things like that as we get going. It's interesting because we first planned our orientation by grade level like we usually do. And then when we looked at the content of it, we were really focused on let's get everybody in one room and talk to our community. So Audrey, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I think I still have permission. And let me pull up a little display for you guys. Give me just 1 minute because I have to change one thing on here. Oh, it's turned off. Okay. So let's go ahead and begin. Nope, we're not going to share that. We are going to present that. It's always fun. So this is our orientation for 2020, and we will start with some welcomes. So this year, and you can see it on here, we start everything with an objective at Dixon High School as an avid school and good people. We will work together to best meet the needs of our students and community as we begin this very unique school year. That's the friendliest word I could find. It may be different, but I really want to assure our families that we've got this. Dixon High School has a talented staff, about the best they get, and I'm proud to work with them. So going back to this, just some introductions of some people in the room and some who are working other jobs tonight. I am Stephanie Marquez, the proud principal of Dixon High School, and I was a science person and a community health person prior to teaching, which is kind of funny now. And this is my 30th year in Dixon Unified. I taught at C.A. Jacobs for a long time, and then I've been the vice principal and principal here. I have 2 graduates of Dixon schools. I have a son that is attending college in Oregon in my living room. And I have a daughter who's in graduate school back in California, and she's a young teacher going to be student teaching in COVID. I'd like the rest of these folks to kind of introduce themselves. So first of all, we have Bob Bogalski, one of our 2 assistant principals. Bob,
good evening. I'm here. Good evening, and I also would like to say welcome to all of you. I will be entering my 9th year at Dixon High School and my 28th year in education. I have a son who's going to be a senior in high school, and I am going through the COVID education as well as a parent, just similar to you all, and have experienced my household becoming multiple Zoom locations all at once, as that has been quite the experience in our house. Ms. Marquez.
All right, next I'd like to introduce Angela West, our other assistant principal.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to see all your faces tonight. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the Zoom thing too. I'm gonna have a junior in high school, so I'm a Zoom mom and a Zoom VP, and I have a freshman in college and a senior in college. So we're right there with you on trying to support our kids at home as well as in the classroom. And I'm a very old dinosaur. I've been in Dixon High School since 1997. So I'm excited to be back again this year and working with the kids.
Thank you. Ms. Becerra, are you on with us this evening?
Yes, I am. I'm right here.
Hi.
Hi. Like Ms. Marquez said, my name's Maria Becerra, and I am one of two counselors, and I provide services to students whose last names are A through LA, and I work closely with Mr. Bogoski. I've been in Dixon for 17 years, and out of those 17 years, I was a counselor at Main Prairie for 3 years. And I'm also an alumni from Dixon Unified School District. So I am very happy to be back in Dixon and providing services to the students in the community where I grew up. And I welcome emails and phone calls, anything that I could do to support your students. Thank you, Mrs. Marquez.
Thank you, Ms. Becerra. Mr. Rodriguez, are you on today? I think he's not on with us right now. He went home today. So Ms. Madden, if Mr. Rodriguez chimes in, will you just push me through? And next, Audrey Madden. We know Audrey's here.
My name's Audrey Madden. I am the office coordinator here at Dixon High School. A lot of times if you are getting a parent email or parent phone call from Dixon High School, it's either coming from, it's usually coming from me. I am always here to answer any questions that any parents have. I have 3 children, 2 adult children. They, all 3 of my kids went through Dixon school system. And I've been in Dixon over 20 years. My youngest child is a sophomore in college. And we are also, she's doing the online distance learning, although she is going to school in the fall for a few months for in-person classes. So it's all new. Everything's new this year and how we do things. But we look forward to this school year and look forward to helping everyone through the process. Feel free to call us.
And if you call our school, and I really appreciate this time for you to start putting a face, especially our new folks. I know some of you that have been with us for a year or more, you know these people, but for our new folks especially, this is your first opportunity to see faces with these names. But if you call our school, you're either going to get Audrey or the next 2 people. And the next one, most likely, Brenda Percival. Are you in the room?
I am. Thank you. I'm the attendance secretary. If you call or email, I will probably be the one to answer. I'm very anxious to get this year started. I have 3 sons that went through the Dixon schools, and I am an alumni also. And I'm ready. I'm ready to answer your questions. If you have any, just send me an email or give me a call.
Thank you. And we have a parent liaison, an amazing person at Dixon High School. Yolanda Gonzalez is our parent liaison and EL coordinator, but she's working tonight, so she's not on our Zoom meeting. Is Maria Torres in the room? Nope. Okay, Maria Torres is our registrar, and we'll talk a little bit later about what she does. And Brett Peterson, are you on board? It's our last introduction. And he had another obligation tonight too, I think. So Brett Peterson is our athletic director, and he wanted to be with us, but he has a Lions Club meeting at the same time. So probably those guys got him. So I'm going to go ahead and go forward, but this is just a view of some of the people, only the people that you might come in contact with first at Dixon High School. And we have, like I said, we have more information coming. I'm going to move on. We follow pretty strictly, and we really believe in some guiding principles and expectations at Dixon High School. And it was funny, as I started, I realized these kind of stay the same. So I'd like to walk through some thoughts as a site leader and really somebody that absolutely loves this job and these kids and this community, with starting to build sort of an idea of what our guiding principles and expectations are. So first, our world may be really different right now, but our purpose here is still the same. And I just want to take a minute to go back to the old school, not the old Dixon High School, but school prior to COVID. Our school is filled with talented teachers. Our school is filled with caring staff members. Our school is filled with amazing, amazing kids, the best anywhere. They are sweet, well, most of the time, and they are compliant, and they learn, and they're flexible, and they're fun to be around. I know that I can speak for my admin team with Ms. West, Mr. Bogalski, and myself, and probably for everybody, but the three of us spend a lot of time with kids, just casually at lunchtime, and we missed them. We mourned not being with them. Then we hit spring, and when COVID hit and we closed the school, our biggest concern as a school was how our kids were going to respond to this, and like everybody else, what was going to happen to our world. And as we went into that, if you remember correctly, nobody knew how long schools were going to close or what the program was. Turned out to be where we are now. But in the spring, we engaged in what someone called a few weeks ago crisis learning, and I thought that was the perfect name for what we did. And what we were trying to accomplish there was to keep our kids whole, to get technology going, to be able to reach them, to be able to teach them, but to have them have easy success with those teachings and learnings, and to keep those connections with our kids. We missed them, and we wanted to make sure they were okay. We went to a pass no pass system based on advice from our college counterparts and what was in the best interest of our students. And then we come to this fall, and as you all know, countrywide and statewide, we are going distance learning along with almost every school district, and that's tough stuff. It's going to be different though than the spring. The spring's goal was to just maintain relationships with kids, and now we are very serious about the business of teaching our kids and getting them ready for the whole rest of their future. And that's a big haul for us. That's certainly a big haul for our families. And as I'll talk about later, it's a big haul for our kids. I'll talk more about what that looks like as we come up. I want everybody to remember, and I'm not putting my foot down on those three things, but I'm going to put my foot down on this last thing. We will eventually get back to a high school. We will eventually get back to our kids here where we want them. We will eventually get back to homecoming dances. We will eventually get back to football seasons. We will eventually get back to proms and sports and activities and field trips and all of those things. So if you're ever feeling down about this, remember, we have a future school in mind, and we will get there. Moving forward, safety for students and staff and their extended families is a must for us. Our admin team and our office staff have been at work for a while now, and it's very clear that these are the things that are it just has to be the top priority. It's non-negotiable. We all need to support our kids so they can keep learning and growing. All of us, all of you, and kids themselves, and they need to support each other. But we all need to support our kids so they keep going. We are super proud of who we are and what we do, and that can actually be best encapsulated in our mission. DHS will develop and integrate the structures and practices necessary to ensure all students learn at high levels, not just some, but all of them. Students will graduate from DHS college and career ready, prepared for the global demands of the 21st century. Admittedly, right now those demands are huge, and we don't know really what they are. So looking at this mission, I just want to remind folks that this mission applies to everything we do at Dixon High School. I'll give you a heads up. Every year at the beginning of the year, our staff reevaluates this mission. And it's kind of nice because I don't like how many words it has. I think a mission should be easy to say. So if you talk to me socially, you will hear me say our mission is to make sure every single kid leaves here ready for the world. That's what it says in simple terms. However, every single year when we meet with staff and we talk about paring this down, it is the most productive discussion ever. And they say, we don't want to take anything out. Everything that we could take out, someone wants in there. It's our responsibility to do. It applies to our athletics, it applies to our performances, it applies to our behavior, everything. We are getting kids ready for the world, and we understand and appreciate that responsibility. We also have, last year we had 3 things. This fall, we have 4. We're going to keep our same 3, but I'll get to the 4th in a minute. And you, hopefully, if you're a returning student, you've heard of these. So our guiding principles, we expect everybody, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, to engage fully in what they're doing. We all have a really new job. In the time we've been in the office, we've realized that we have to throw out everything we knew before and start over 100%. And it's kind of nice. It's hard for us old dogs to learn new tricks, but we really do have a totally new job to do. And our kids are going to have to engage in this new job. As parents, we're going to have to engage in this. As faculty, we're going to have to engage in this. Our second one, we expect people to seek support. We will all need support to do this moving forward. Every one of us. Our students will need to seek support. We can't, especially if we can't see you. And trust me, my VPs here, they're not mine, but Ms. West and Mr. Bigalski, they can see a kid walking across the quad and know that they need help by the way they're moving. We need our kids to reach out to us if they need support, likewise parents. We need to be present so we can engage in this work, and that's a tough one this year. It's funny because that one doesn't make a lot of sense to people up front, but it sure does with COVID. Unless you can turn COVID off and what's going on off, it's hard to engage in your lessons. Just keep that in mind. And then the last one, as we go through this, we really, really need to be careful to be mindful about how we are with other people and how we are with ourselves. Every single person has a story. They're different now. Every single person has and is grieving what we used to have. Everybody is anxious. However, I think this community can do this if anyone else can. Everybody has a role in what we're going to try to do. And sorry, this is really preachy, but here we go. Everybody has a role. Our teachers will be teaching through distance learning. That is new. It is a big job, and it is kind of scary. But distance learning will take place every single period, every single day at Dixon High School. You will be getting a schedule from me in the next week or so, but I think it's important to know that despite seeing A's and B's on the schedule, every single high school student will be expected to be in their classes or doing coursework by period every day. So if your student ends up with a 1 through 6, they will be expected to be in school from periods 1 through 6. We'll talk about that more, but it's not half a day, it's not part of a day, it's not like the spring where there's a lesson and they can work on it completely asynchronously. That's the word we use for that. They will be in their classes every day, all day. Lesson delivery, assessment, monitoring, attendance, and grading will be the same as if school was in regular session. There is no pass, no pass for this time, and there are rigorous standards-based lessons. DHS will support students and parents through advisory cohorts this year. And we're just getting this off the ground, but our advisory cohorts will be run by starting with the admin team and counseling and some support staff and hopefully some other adults on campus as we go. And those cohorts will help take some of that communication responsibility from parents and kids to schools. So every parent and student will be in a particular cohort with an expediter. That will be the adult that helps expedite communication. So this will provide a clear, linear, active communication between home and the school, and hopefully have some check-in, check-out practices, and will expedite the relationship between school and families. It's very important to me that there is a way for every single parent and every single student to reach somebody at school that can help them find the answers they need. Not answers to a test, but answers about school. And like I said, everybody has a role to play. Did I skip one, Audrey? Sorry, guys, I have to go find myself here. Nope, I'm right where I want to be. This is for parents. Parents, oops, not students. So everybody has a role to play, and parents, you have a role too. And here's what it is. We've got this teaching thing at Dixon High School. We have phenomenal teachers, and we are ready to go forward. Here's what we need you to do. We need you to keep your information updated and updated twice in HomeLink. Sorry about the typo. But we need to keep that information updated. We learned this week, and this is good, that there's some problem with the contacts, the email contacts, but that's on us. We are loading that all up right now as we speak, if not done by tonight. We need you to engage in learning with your student, and we need you to engage positively with your student. So there's a couple of things we have to help you. One, we are doing planners again this year, because I know as a parent, well, and you know as a parent after the spring, that it was really hard to manage your student's Google Classroom. That's sort of a unique thing between the student and the teacher. So we have planners. Ms. West picked them out, so they look kind of like a Grateful Dead concert. Here they are. She has hers. I have one right here. But these are your students' planners, and every student will get one of those, and they will be expected to record their lessons day by day in every class as they would if we were on school. You will also get a contact list from me, and I'll talk about that a little later. I'm going to give you some stuff to stick on your fridge. It's actually called Stuff on the for your fridge, and one of those is a direct contact list, exactly who to contact at school if you need a transcript, if you need advice, if you need a work permit, if you need to know what leadership's doing. There is a direct contact list for you. We expect you to engage with the equipment your student needs for school. We will provide what you don't have. A lot of people worry about our elective classes, and our elective teachers are phenomenal at distance learning. They're ready to go. They were some of our teachers that were emailing me back in May and June and saying, hey, Steph, we've got this for next year if we go distance. So we will be talking about that. We do need you to make sure that you have a workspace or ask for support for a workspace for your student. That doesn't mean we buy you a desk, but it does mean that they don't necessarily need to have their own room for learning, but they do need to have a place where there's less distraction, where they can do their Zoom meetings, where they can work with their teacher in their lessons, because the lessons will not be just a Zoom lecture like this presentation. They will actually be hopefully engaging and have wicker and collaboration with their classmates and all of those things. You're also going to need to chat with your team. And kids, I see you in there, and I'm not trying to be mean. Sometimes your team can be pretty scary, but we want you to talk with them anyway. And if anything's bothering you or you need help, please let us know. And again, onto that, we need you to seek support when you need it as a parent, and let us know if your student needs it. And so hopefully that process of advisory with the expediters is at least one way for sure you could go with getting in touch with us. And then please, here it is again, remember that when this is all over, we will go back to normal. That will happen. And then also be mindful that this is all new every day for everyone. Talk about that more. And then lastly, please be flexible. It's 2020 after all. Everybody has a role, and you students have a role. So I hope you're there, and I hope you're still putting up with me talking, and here we go. I wrote these statements, and I thought, wow, I used the word you too many times. It sounds funny because it's got the word you in it so many times. And then I looked at it, and I just underlined those parts because this is for you. We know you, we believe in you, and you need to do something. So what it says overall is every single person in this Zoom right now and around you knows wishes that things were different for you. Nobody here, and this is hard for me even as a mom, right? Nobody here wants this for you. But we do know that you can do this, and we believe in you to do this. So here's what you need to do. If you're a kid in this room, and every kid at Dixon High School is going to have to find a way to engage in learning every period, every day. You haven't been ever asked to do that before. You have not been asked to engage in distance learning every period, every day. It is a big ask, but you're going to have to do it. We need you to be mindful that this is new once again for everybody, including your teachers. There are days where this isn't going to work how they planned, and it's not going to work how you planned. I was a science teacher for a long time. I lit a lot of things on fire that shouldn't be on fire, but it's okay, you just keep going. We need you to be flexible and communicate. Things might not always work properly, like the email for this evening. I sent an email to all parents for this evening, and then we found out that we'd changed systems and not all of those emails carried through. So if you have a friend, parents, or students that didn't get here tonight, that's okay. We'll put this out to you, but we fixed that problem and it'll go next week. I am not, before COVID, the most flexible person in the world. And if there are staff members on this Zoom, you know what I'm talking about. I have had to learn to go with the flow and say, oops, that didn't work. But I am committed to fixing it when that happens. I'm getting really good at it. Students, we need you to seek support. You will absolutely need it along the way, and we can give it, and we can find it, and we can get it. We need you to allow yourself to be present in your coursework, even if you have to reteach yourself how to do this. You have not been engaged in school for a long time for a lot of reasons. We think, those of us that work with teens, we think you had too much in your head to do school for real in the spring with everything that was going on. Some of you, of course, could have done school, but we think it was a tough time for you to grow and just live. Now you had a summer of anxiety and COVID, and I don't know about your house, but in my house, way too many video games. And it's time for you to reteach yourself how to be present in your coursework. And then kids, it's really important that you remember, you determine your future. And you have a lot to do, and it's tough stuff, and we'll help you, but you determine how this ends up in the future. So, I know you've listened to me a long time, but for everybody in the room, I have an analogy for you a little bit. And you have to bear with me. I taught this way for about 18 years. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's great when it works. Sometimes it didn't work very well, and sometimes it failed. So we'll see how tonight goes. But I was looking for a way to wrap our brains around a different way of restructuring Dixon High School to best support our most important relationship, and that's the relationship between our kids and our teachers. And if you know me at all, and I know there's a lot of people out there that do, you can imagine that I ponder things a lot, usually when I'm not sleeping very well with COVID. So here we go. I was thinking about students and teachers and the hard work they have to do. And because we all need to come together to support these people so they can perform at their highest level and get the job done. And this is hard because there's a lot of distraction out there. So I was looking for an analogy that sort of made sense about that. I was thinking about when I used to go to Giants games and I'd watch the pitcher and the batter. And I thought, one of my kids was an athlete, and I thought, wow, those pitchers, by the time they get to the major leagues, they must have thrown a ball a lot of times. They must get up and think, gosh, I have to throw a ball again. And so I was thinking about this relationship between the pitcher and the batter and all the distractions, and then I stopped myself and said, they're on opposite teams. That's probably not a very good model for teachers and students. They're on totally different teams. So then I thought, what other sport could I use? And I thought about football. So I understand that with this slide, I'm dating myself. Funny joke in itself, but I'm dating myself, and I'm way back with Joe Montana and Dwight Clark in probably what I think is one of the greatest teams and the greatest plays ever, a long, long time ago. I have excellent taste in football teams, unlike my colleague, Mr. Bogalski, or my boss, Mr. Dolan. So I chose these guys for my analogy, and here's how it works. I think of our teachers like quarterbacks, like Joe Montana and other lesser ones. But my teachers are like our quarterbacks. They're well trained, they're well prepared, they're experienced, They're able to lead, and they call the plays on the field and execute them. Our kids are like receivers. Wes Bessigini, I know you're on here. Please don't get mad at my football analogy. Our students are like the receivers. They are doing a specific skill, and they have to do that skill to get somewhere. So we are watching them do this skill, and guess what? They need muscle memory to do that. Guess what they don't have a lot of right now after a rough spring, a rough life, and a rough summer. So we have to build that skill. They need to practice, and they need to follow the quarterback's instructions. So if our kids are the receivers and the teachers are the quarterbacks, look over there on the sideline. That's the rest of us at Dixon High School. And this is what we've been working on in our offices and our campus the last few weeks. Our admin team, our support staff, our nurses, our district colleagues, we are the sideline support for our kids. Just like if a player gets hurt, they go off the field and they fix them up. Just like if the quarterback needs a play called, they reach out to a certain coach. Just like we all watch film together and we figure out how to do it better. Just like we can tell our quarterbacks how to work with a particular receiver and all of those things. So our job is to support our quarterback, to provide feedback, to be available for support, and to provide facilities and equipment for them to do their job well. Our students and teachers must be able to communicate. They must be able to train, and our kids haven't had that opportunity, and our teachers are well aware of how to get them there. They need to be able to focus, and they need to execute their play. Their teammates are their classmates, and they need to work together to get that done. So I would ask you, if we were in person, who do you think, what role do you think the parents play? And I asked someone the other day, and they said all those people in the stands, those are the parents. And they aren't. We'll talk about who they are in a minute. The parents should be the agents for the receivers, right? The parents should be those people that advocate only for their particular receiver. And that's not true. You can always advocate for other kids. You can advocate for your quarterback. Shoot, you could advocate for the coach on the sideline. That would be very, very exciting. But as parents, you are an advocate for your receiver. If you need anything, you need to talk to the coach or someone on the sidelines so that you can develop that relationship between your player and the quarterback. So who are all those people in the stands? To me, they're everything and everybody else, negatively and positively. They are COVID. They are family struggles. They are the media. They are fear and anxiety, community, social media. They are love, growth, new outlooks, and reprioritization. All of those things that we've experienced in the last several months. I think it is our job as a school to make sure that those people in the stands, those forces in the stands, can either make noise to encourage our quarterbacks and our receivers, or they can make noise to distract our quarterbacks and receivers. And as coaches, other players, teammates, and agents, we need to allow our quarterbacks and teachers to play their game. They have work to do. That's my little analogy. Moving on. Now, for a few nuts and bolts today, I promise you there are more later, and I'll open it up to questions after we get done. Communication is different in distance learning and distance everything. Last year when we went to distance learning, we already knew your kids, or you kids that are there. Now we're getting some new ones, and so we can't wait to meet you for real, but we're gonna meet you this way. So communication is different and super critical. Student planners are a must. That is the only way, and don't let your kid talk you out of it. I did with one of mine. Don't let them talk you out of it and say, no, it's okay. I'm talking to my teacher on Google Classroom. See? Make them do this. We'll teach you how to make them do this. Email is going to be huge. I already talked about that. We already found a little problem. We're fixing it. We should be good to go. You can expect an email from me at least weekly, especially as we get started. And I'm going to be emailing students and parents. Students, your email is attached to your student number, and you better look at my emails at least once a week till we start school, and then every day you need to look for an email from me, just in case. We're planning some definite parent nights for you. We'd like to get those in about once a week for parents. Everything from, you know, the nuts and bolts for your grade level student to how to use a planner, how to seek support, how, Angela and Bob, can you remember any of those other things we talked about offhand? Parent nights? You want to chime in?
Well, I think and we just wanted to hear from parents too and get input from what they needed and make sure that they had just a place to have a voice.
Right, thank you. And so I think what we'll do is get a survey out, please. Angela, can you remember that I want to do that, about what you want to see in those parent nights to really help you support your student, your receiver. Dixon High School Facebook page. I know I've heard before that, you know, what if you don't have Facebook? It's a public page. You do not need to have Facebook to look at it. That is so exciting. So if you need help finding that, just give us a call at the school. You can call Miss Audrey or myself, and we'll get you in there. The pattern I plan to use, the Dixon Facebook page, is where we publish any information or events or exciting shout outs or something like that. But if I'm going to email you something, I will start with a Facebook shout out and then follow up with the email and the details a little bit later to your email, so you can look for it there. We will be using Messenger to reach out to you when we need to and when we can. That's the phone message you got. What I would like to do is tie that when I send an email. I'll do a phone message that lets you know that I sent it, so it's a little boost for you. We are also going to use, we have a student handbook. It took us a long time to figure out if we were going to use our regular one or just distance, and we want to use our regular one because we will eventually come back to school, and we're going to provide a distance learning addendum to that student handbook. We need you to let us know if you need us. We cannot tell by looking at you. I mean, I can in the Zoom, but when school's in session, please, 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 if there's anything you need and anything we can help with, do not hesitate to reach out to us. I'll tell you how in a minute. And here's what it is. I'm going to give you stuff for your fridge. You don't really have to put it on the fridge, but I know there are certain things that you're going to need in hard copy. They'll be posted also, but we're going to give you some stuff that you can have access to all the time. And one is Who's Who, a contact list. It says exactly, if you need a transcript, this is who you call. If you need to talk about your kids' behavior, this is who you call. If you need help with athletics, this is who you call. And it's just a 2-page list of everything you need. We're also going to give you a copy of the DHS Principles and Expectations. And as soon as it's out to us, we'll give you the particular distance learning bell schedule. As you've seen drafts of it at board meetings, students will be tied to a teacher for half of their day. Yes, they'll be tied to a teacher half of their day and then working independently half a day, but they're still going to be expected to work period by period by period. Lastly, we'll get you a calendar that you can have for your fridge also. So those packets will be available to your student when they come to pick up their textbooks, and that will occur, I think, on Monday, August 31st. Right, Angela? So yeah, on Monday, August 31st, and don't worry about it now. You don't need to put in your calendar now. We will have a particular schedule where kids can come to campus, social distanced, of course, and pick up in one location all of their learning materials, some kits for some of our elective courses, and these things for the fridge. Oh, and their planner. Ms. West has her planner up, so definitely your planner. Next. Just because we're distance learning does not mean we do not support your student at all. So we still have food service available. We'll be getting information out about that. We still have mental health services for your students if they need it, for sure. Parents, that's going to be a big push for you to get a hold of us if they need that. Academic support will still be available. We're going to do that in as many creative ways as we can. We will still have college advising, and we will have Ms. Ramirez Barba, our same college advisor. She's amazing. We will still have support for our English learners and our kids with disabilities. We will have migrant ed support available, and we have a ton of community support at Dixon High School. I'm going to be starting some parent groups, so parents, keep that in the back of your mind and look for that. We also have a really strong relationship with our service clubs. We're really proud of those relationships. And those folks are really, really on board with us. So we are still here for you. And I believe that ends my babble. So what I'm going to do now is turn it over to you folks who are more important than this and see if you have any questions. So if you have, oh, I forgot to tell you how to ask a question. Hold on one second. So if you have a question, you can go to, I'm sorry? Oh, if you have a question, please just go down to the participants tab, right, Audrey? And raise your hand, and then we'll call on you. Audrey will call on you.
So we have the first person raising their hand is Williams.
Raises the hand.
Is
Is
Williams?
Williams available?
My question is, when is the children going to find out their classes and their teachers?
Sure. Usually we do that in a normal year. If we start on a Wednesday, we release those at orientation the Monday or Tuesday, like the day before school starts. So we may do that a little earlier this year, but we are starting school. We're currently scheduled, I think, to start school on August 24th. So you can probably expect them at the beginning of that week.
Okay, so will they be mailed out or emailed? How is that going to work?
So we will release them in your HomeLink account, and
Okay.
at the same time, we'll be available to provide hard copies for folks that can't get into their HomeLink account. But it is really important that you all get your HomeLink accounts up and running. And if anybody needs to know, the person to ask about your HomeLink account is Brenda Percival. So just in case there's someone in the room, I'm going to give you her contact information. She lives at, just kidding, Brenda, I'm not giving your address. So here we go. If you need help with your HomeLink account, and I recommend that you get help because it works really well, you can contact Brenda Robinson. No, she's not. She's Brenda Percival. And her email address is bpercival, Percival, at dixonusd.org. So again, that's bpercival at dixonusd.org, or you can call the school at 707-693-6330, extension 7102. So our school, 7102. You'll get used to that number. But thank you for the question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next person we have up is Stephanie Pereira.
This is Stephanie's mom, Joanne, and I was just wondering, with distance learning, what classes are not being offered? I have one in particular. Are we doing work study or?
Yeah, is that your one in particular? Because I'm super nosy. I was like, which one is that? Yeah,
Yes.
all of our classes are being offered this year. So,
Okay.
and I know that sounds weird. Like, how are they going to learn welding, at home? It's okay. Our teachers are really, really good at what they do. Please remember, though, what they're being asked to do is really, really hard. And
Yes.
I want you to know that in the spring, when we were first talking about schedules, it was very interesting. While it was being talked about in board meetings, I was getting texts from our teachers that said, we've got this, we're good. And I'm so proud to work with these fine adults I work with. That said, they are ready to go. It's going to be different. And there's a learning curve for everybody. We get that, that's okay. But all of our classes are being offered and the credits will be offered. It is not pass, no pass though. It is for a grade, and there's a regular expectation for rigor and pace and all of these things that we let go in the spring. So those are all in place, and that, parents, that's going to be kind of a shock for your kids. But please remember that slide I showed, and I think we're recording this meeting, so we'll post it for you. Please keep in mind that it's really important that they get back into this pattern of every class every day. But yes, work study, it's not called work study, I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's on the schedule.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking.
Our next question is from April Sanders Hall.
Hi.
Hi, April. It's funny because you like pop over here. I'm not good at the Zoom thing. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So I actually had a couple questions. First off, we're new to Dixon area, period. And so I was wondering, with the new students, not just new students into ninth grade, but new students into the overall unified school district, is there going to be any programs or groups offered on Zoom to allow those students to kind of make friends, like outside of whatever, so when they do come back to school on campus, they'll have, you know, like they'll feel a little more comfortable with that?
Can I answer that one before you ask another one, because I might forget if you go too far?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm going one at a time. You.
Oh, perfect. We're gonna get along great.
I'm here. Let's. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because originally we planned on doing an orientation just for new students, and we combined it here. I think that is a really good question, and as you speak, I don't want to make work for other people, but I have a lot of ideas about that. So, and I'm not going to call these folks out literally, but you know, we have some programs at school that involve some degree of public service or leadership, or you know, we have student TAs. We have definitely leaders on campus and students, and I think it would be great to set up sort of a mentor program for those students new to Dixon. Oh, you moved. It threw me off a little. So I think that's really good. I'm going to throw that over to Bob Bogalski, and not only throw it over for his response, but also to have him head that up. So hi, Bob.
Thank you. And yes, what I can tell you is that our student leadership group went to training this summer. One of the topics they had presentations on were how to do orientations for the start of the school year virtually, as well as new students. I know that they are working on putting that program together, and Wes Bessaghini, who's the teacher in charge of our leadership class, is working on that. And we will be putting together a group of students that are new to the district as well. And the leadership classes will be reaching out to those students. So Coach Bessaghini is already on it. I don't know if he likes the pressure of me calling him out in person, but the leadership class has this and are ready to go. If you don't receive contact by the first day of school, please get in touch with me, and we will make sure that your student is linked up with leadership class.
Thank you. I was hopeful that would be the answer. Okay, April, question number 2, we're ready.
And then textbooks. Is textbooks going to be a thing? Do students need to do it like drive-through, pick up textbooks throughout this, or what's the plan for that?
Yeah, on August 31st, we are going to have a textbook and materials pickup day. It will be scheduled by group of kids, by time, and we will give you all of the instructions. You weren't here in the spring because you're new, but we did something similar to drop them off, and we will be picking them up. Your student will also get their planner and your list of your stack of stuff for your fridge that day. But yes, and it seems weird that we start on the 24th and do that later, and that's because we need to make sure schedules settle a little bit before we do a textbook pickup. But yes, we have that planned, and it's on August 31st.
Okay. And then is there a plan for return for an orientation when the students return, for those who may be new to the entire campus and freshmen, to go through the campus and do a walkthrough?
Sure. If so it is unlikely that we will just randomly return. So what we will do, we'll go, right now the plan is to go into a hybrid model first, where they stay on the same schedule they are and come in. You know, there's 2 different schedules, an A schedule and a B school schedule. So we're working hands-on with half the kids at a time. So if we do that, they will just transition into that. And what we will do is have our leadership kids or our admin team, if they're not up for it, I'm sure they are up for it, but just walk, you know, give them a tour and do the things that we typically do with our new folks. And welcome to the community, by the way. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. And then just one more thing. I know you mentioned the academic support, but does that mean academic support for like the freshmen who are going to be taking Spanish, which they've never taken or anything before? Is there like any sort of tutoring offered if they're having like a hard time or anything of that nature?
Yes, I just don't know in what format yet, but yes, we will support your student. Also, I will just, another shout out to our teachers. Our Spanish 1 teachers know they're getting kids that have never spoken a lick of Spanish, you know, and so they are really, really good at bringing them along. But, you know, yes, we will provide some tutoring. I haven't been able to nail down if we're going to do it after school or in the evening or both. We also have a slew of really, you know, it's a high school. So we have great seniors. We have a lot of our graduates from last year that are doing college remotely. So we can also set you up with a private tutor if you'd like, you know, that we would recommend. So there are lots of ways to go with this, and we'll be advertising all of them to you. However, while you're asking this question, and to all of the parents here, this is, like I said, I'm not trying to scare you kids. I'm looking at you kids right now. I'm not trying to scare you. You can totally do this, and we'll set you up, but it is unique and different. So if parents, if your student is having trouble getting going, or you're not pleased with their progress, or you need help, your first person to go to there is that classroom teacher. That every single time, call that teacher, email that teacher, find out what's going on, how they can support you, what you can do to support your student, what your student is doing or not doing. After that, though, also let your counselor or your student's vice principal know what's going on, and they can also support you if it's more than just that individual class issue.
Okay, awesome. And then so my last thing only was the culinary, which you kind of did get. So my question was, how are they going to do culinary online? You did say that the teachers are absolutely brilliant at what they're going to do, and don't worry, but is there any sort of like, are they going to just kind of tell you something to do and they're going to do it at home, say baking or whatever the culinary is for?
Sure, and I will absolutely answer that. I want to be very clear. I am never a parent principal that's going to tell you not to worry, because, you know, hey, ask Mr. Bogalski and Ms. Madden and Ms. West. I worry all the time. But so I'm not going to tell parents not to worry, but I am going to tell you in this regard. So our culinary program in the spring, it'll be more structured in the fall, but they can certainly do menu planning, recipe planning, cook for their family, you know, and I'm not trying to act like I'm a culinary teacher, but there are lots of activities that kids can do to stay up with culinary skills. We also have culinary textbooks, and we have a full program there. So that will be what we do. And I'm not going to speak for that instructor because he knows what he's doing, but that's the type of thing that happens. Did I get your question?
I guess I was just kind of like real confused, because when we were picking our classes, there wasn't a lot as far as electives go for the 9th grade students. Like we had, you know, a very minimal option. So he chose ceramics and culinary, and I'm like, well, ceramics and culinary, those are kind of things like you have to kind of be there in person. Like even ceramics, you know, like I took ceramics many years of my life. I could kiln build, I can do all that. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, what is he going to do in ceramics online? So are we going to, as the parents, have to go down and purchase some sort of anything? No. Or okay.
Nope. We will provide what you need.
Okay.
We will probably give parents the option of providing their own, but we will provide what you need. And our ceramics teacher is one that reached out to me in June. I got this, I know what to do. So, and it's not going to be forever. I think we need to remember that. So no, your student is not going to be able to throw clay in your living room. And in fact, for every parent that wants that, I bet there are 7 that are like, please do not send my kid clay at my house. No. That said, the teachers know how to flip that a little bit and do more of the critique and the other things that go with that, and then throw a bunch of clay when they come back.
Okay, perfect. Well, that was all I had. Thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for your questions. And if you're not sure about your student's schedule, you can always reach out to your counselor. What's your student? Well, I'm not going to ask you.
Well, we don't. Yeah, we don't know his schedule. I just turned in our information on Monday. I haven't got his schedule. Okay. I don't even know if he's even in any of those classes. So, but those were the ones.
If you want to talk to a counselor, just call the school and we'll get you hooked up and you can figure that out.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Next up, we have Humphreys fam.
Hi. So we have a quick question about the schedules. So
Mhm.
once the schedule, I know last year and the year before, like, they had to go to class for a couple of weeks before they were able to make changes.
Right.
Do you know what's going to work this year?
The same way, but it shouldn't be a couple of weeks. Our schedules are looking pretty definitive and good. So we and our counselors, I just want to do a shout out here. They worked all summer, even when they're not scheduled to work, to get kids' schedules finalized and make sure class sizes were even. They have done a lot of work this summer so that your kids would have a more streamlined start to the year. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And in that period, they are required to go to the classes on their schedule. And I think this is something important for all parents. Until we get it fixed, and there will be a policy to get it fixed, they will go to the classes they are, because we have to account for attendance and all of those things. So we need to know where kids are. I can't find you anymore. Oh, there you are. So that there's a reason for that delay. It's not because we don't want to do it, but it is because we need to account for kids until we get that schedule change made. But I'm imagining we start on the 24th. We would really like to do textbooks on the 31st, and that's the date we have planned. So obviously we would want the schedules finalized before we do that textbook pickup.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. Hi. Okay.
Okay, the next up is Aaron's iPhone.
Hi, yeah, I just had a question about, or a concern about waiting till the last minute to get our kids' schedules. With all of the uncertainty this year, and I know for my child in particular, like that's creating a lot of stress and anxiety of not knowing what's before him. And I think if there's any way that we could get those schedules a little, several days or a week in advance, that would really help.
We're hoping to give you, get them to you on, let's see, 24th is the start.
So it starts on a Monday, which is a little bit different.
We'll probably get you this, we'll shoot for the Thursday before. That gives you a good solid four days. Tell your student that it will be okay. But if your student is having like some high degree of anxiety, we want to fix that. So call your vice principal and they can kind of walk you through what you can expect. But we tend to find that with teenagers, there's almost more anxiety if they have them too far ahead, because they start to perseverate about and imagine what that would be or not be. So we're shooting for the 20th right now, and they will all go out at the same time. But if there's a particular concern that your student has, if they're anxious about one class over another, please call your counselor or call your vice principal and talk it through with your kid.
Okay, and then one other question. With them starting school on the 24th and not receiving their textbooks till the 31st, and I understand the reasoning behind that, what can they anticipate the first week looking like?
There's a lot to do in classrooms with getting the year started. This is something that's not unique to this year. We do this every year, and our teachers are very good at establishing relationships, establishing procedures, getting them started, and getting a strong sense of what they need to do in class. And they will have classwork to do and homework. Yeah, if there are any teachers here that want to chime in on that, you're more than welcome. I don't want to speak for our teachers. I do know that they are already planning really carefully for what our kids' first experiences will be like in classrooms, and very thoughtfully so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Alicia Gutierrez.
Hi, thank you guys so much for taking the time. I just had another quick question, maybe for parents who've never had any experience with Dixon High. If you could go back and explain some of the things like what is HomeLink, how does it work, what's expected. I thankfully have been able to reach out to Brenda, who by the way is beyond amazing. And then for students that maybe didn't have a lot of experience with uploading or doing Google Docs, or we're at a private school or something different, is there going to be preparation in getting them ready for this distance learning with their teachers at the beginning of the year?
Yes, those are great questions. And so, and thank you for the reminder about HomeLink. HomeLink is our online grading system that we use to manage communication and grades for students. And we will be sending more information about that, but really, really, if you want help with HomeLink or you want to know what it is, please call Brenda. She's an all-star and she can help people all day long. Secondly, and I hope I answered that well enough, but secondly, you asked about getting kids ready. And yes, and I know our English department in particular has been putting in the days to plan lessons to get kids ready to go with distance learning. And I'll give you an example, folks, of what we found out last year. We discovered as we were going through the spring that most of our kids, a surprising number of our kids, did not know how to email. They really didn't. And I was like, why? But you know what? I picked Joe Montana for my football picture. So for me, at one point, email was new. Our kids don't email. They don't. They do all those other newfangled things. I don't know, Snap, Instagram, whatever. And I don't want to age myself, but here we are. So it was really evident towards the end of the semester that they did not know how to email. So our English teachers, one of their first assignments as schools start is to teach them how to write an appropriate email back and forth and communicate through email with our staff. It's a really good skill for the workplace still and for our kids, and we didn't know that they didn't know how to do that. So an interesting thing that we've learned, this is another reason that spring, what we did is valuable. We found some gaps, and our English department in particular, and every kid has an English class, is working on the first few lessons to really address some of those gaps and skills that kids need. Successful. Oh my God, to be successful in distance learning. All right, that scared me.
Okay, next up we have Lucia.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can, hi.
Oh, hello. So my question is regards to Chromebooks. Back in March when they were originally handing them out, we didn't need one at that time, but now
Yeah.
with this school year, we will be needing one. So do you guys have a date for that?
We don't at the high school, but we know there's one coming. So the Chromebooks will be issued out. I don't know if they're coming to the site or if they're going to do it from the district office, but our tech department will absolutely be issuing Chromebooks. And those Chromebooks, we have enough for one-to-one. Every single kid in Dixon Unified School District has access to a Chromebook if they need it. So, and I know there were some issues with families, you know, sharing between multiple kids. Now that we're doing this for real, period by period, every day, kids are gonna need their own computer. So yes, those will absolutely be available to you and we'll get information out to you. One of the reasons I wanna have this email system up and running is that's the type of thing I wanna be able to send to you, give you a call and make sure you get it. So thank you for asking.
Thank you so much.
Next up we have Valerie.
This might be the same question she just asked. Am I okay to assume that Chromebooks are the laptops?
Yes, and you know what? I'm glad you asked it twice because I forgot a part with Lucia's comment. And so thank you. You opened the door to more of me, which is not everybody's favorite thing. But I wanted to give a shout out. Our tech department was able to, you know, we went to distance learning in the spring with nothing, and they were able to build us up to one-to-one between then and now. So yeah, there are computers available for every student. We'll be getting that information out to you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, the next question is Mary and Janae Flournoy.
Hi. So I'm going into my sophomore year, and I was wondering, when you say check in with every period, every class, like every day, does that mean I have to check in like every hour at the times that class would normally be, like via Zoom or other, like at 7:30 in the morning to like 3 in the afternoon?
It does, sort of. So what is your last name?
Flournoy.
Okay, so you're gonna be a B student. There are two groups, a B student. So what you will do, and this is gonna sound really, really weird, and I don't wanna confuse the group. Before I say anything to you, and I'm gonna answer your question, let me talk to all the parents out there. If you are not a freshman parent, if you remember when you first came to Dixon High School and we told you about double days, and you looked at us like, holy cow, that is never gonna make sense. And if you went to those orientations, I told you, nope, it's not until you do it, and then it will make sense. And I am 100% sure that our schedule this year is going to be the same. So I can describe it. Do not panic. It will make sense when we do it. So who am I talking to, Janae?
Yes.
Did you say Janae? Yeah, Janae. Okay, Janae, here's how it's gonna work. You will be on a B track. On Monday, you will be at home. You will be able to do work at your own pace for whatever classes you need to do work for. On Tuesday, you will be expected to do the work for yours if you have a 0 period, let's say 0 through 3rd period class, independently of your teacher. But you should still plan on doing 0 period doing 0 period, 1st period doing 1st period, 2nd period doing 2nd, etc. We know that's asking a lot of kids, but we want to try to kind of train you to do that for a couple of reasons. 1, it's what you're supposed to do. 2, it will help you keep up. And 3, it's what you'll have to do when you go to college. You will have to study during the day. Then there's a little break. But for 4th, 5th, and 6th periods, you'll actually engage online with your teacher for those lessons with the other B students in that period. So let's say 4th period, you have English 10. You would go on your computer and be accounted for attendance-wise and everything else with your teacher and your cohort in that 4th period class. It does not mean your teacher is lecturing to you for 45 minutes or however long the period is. It means they're in front of you, you're doing work together, you're collaborating with your classmates, you're completing assignments, and you're working together. On the next day, that flip-flops. So the next day, you'll engage literally with your teachers 0 through 3, and then work independently 4, 5, and 6. But and it flip-flops for the next 2 days. The expectation, though, is that you're doing that class's work at that class's time every day, either with a teacher or alone.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Does it?
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Marcy Ponce.
Hi, Ms. Marquez. Can you hear us? Can you?
I can. Hi, everybody.
Hi. So my question is, Damien was in 8th grade last year, and he's going into freshman year. And I'm pretty sure you know about the whole fiasco with the math. So I just want to be reassured that the 9th grade math teachers are going to be aware of all that. He did do summer school to kind of, I know, I'm so proud of him, and he got credits for that, so it was really cool. But I just want to make sure that they're going to be able to get caught up with all the other students that, that's my concern.
Sure. And I know that's always a concern. And I hear you. I'm reticent to use the word fiasco, and now we have an opportunity. So congratulations, first of all, for summer school success. That's a really, really good start. So what you want to do is, you as a parent, and I would recommend this to any parents, if you have a particular concern, once you get a schedule and you know that teacher, I think you should email that teacher and just say, we're real concerned about integrated 1. Parents, teachers cannot email you regularly about your student, especially before they know them, and that's going to take even longer. They have a bunch of kids, so they are not going to remember as much as our teachers would love to remember to email you. They aren't going to be able to do that. So if you're concerned about your son, check in with an email every week or so and just say, how's he doing? Are there any concerns, before it tumbles away? That said, they are teaching the integrated 1 standards, as our English 9 teachers are teaching the English 9 standards, PE 9 standards. That's what they're doing. And they can differentiate with your student and everything, but it's going to be very important that you're checking in with that teacher and your student. Use that planner regularly and making sure he's doing his stuff. Who's that? Where is he? Is he with you?
He's right. I don't know if you can see him.
Hey, friend. Yeah, I'm watching you. So it's really important that he works really hard. So for whatever his experience is, he may have to work double hard, and that's just where he is right now. It'd be like me trying to run a race, right? I would have to work like 3 times as hard as a normal person. So that's what he's going to have to do. But if that's not working, get a hold of your counselor, get some extra tutoring. Hopefully we have that up and running. I want to have that up and running early, evening tutoring. Call your vice principal, find out about a private tutor, do what you can to make sure that year goes well and he gets caught up to where he needs to be.
Thank you so much.
We all need to chip in on that kind of stuff.
I'll chip in too.
Makes me happy to see you guys. Thanks.
Happy to see you too.
All right, next up we have the Moody's.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Okay. First of all, the family that was speaking before, my daughter was at CA for that home math fiasco also.
That opportunity.
I did talk to, I'm going to say her name wrong, Mrs. Michelson, who did
Ms.
my
Michaels.
son's, yes, she did math 1A or math integrated 1 with my son. She gave me a cheat sheet, or not a cheat sheet, a website that literally has college tutors to help me get her through homework when it comes time. So I'm more than willing to snap a picture of it and post it on the Dixon High Facebook page if it'll help people out. Because that's me. I am right there with any mom that went through 8 substitute math teachers in 1 year. But my first question is, my senior had his pictures done last week, which, oh my God, I can't believe he did. But my freshman, how are they working school pictures and IDs for both the seniors and all the other incoming classes?
You know, it's so good you asked, because Mr. Bogowski is getting fidgety in his little square over there, and this is his area. And if we don't give him time to talk every once in a while, he drives us all bananas. So I'm going to pass that over to Mr. Bogowski. We have a plan.
Yes, we do. We are trying to finalize. We had previously had a date set for pictures. We are finalizing the date, but we'll bring in every student to the high school. Each group of students will be given each half of the alphabet. So the first half of the alphabet for freshmen will go first from 8 to 9 on the date. I don't want to say the date yet because it hasn't been confirmed from Life Touch, but each student will have an hour block to come in and have their picture taken. They will receive their IDs at that time, as well as the parents will be able to purchase the wonderful picture packets from Life Touch as well, and you'll be receiving that information as well. So all the students will come through. I'm waiting on finalizing the date. I apologize for not having it. If you've watched the news at all, we are not the only school district changing our starting date, and they are, as a picture company, they are moving everybody around and trying to juggle their cameras and making sure everybody gets their needs met. They've been fabulous. I appreciate working with them as a company, and we will let you know that date moving forward.
Awesome.
Thanks, Bob.
And then with me having a senior, I know like last year's seniors kind of got gypped out of prom, graduation, but now this incoming year I know there's a bunch of us out there working on doing like senior sunrise, but are there plans for seniors to have special events, even if it's by Zoom?
So to answer your question, let me back up to last year's seniors. They did get gypped by COVID, but they didn't miss their prom. They had their senior ball, and we're proud of them at graduation. We were really able to say goodbye, but yes, they did get gypped out of a lot of things. We at the time were really sad for our seniors, but we were also very concerned about the sophomores and juniors in particular, because they missed a lot of milestones that the seniors had, learning to drive, all of those things. So we know they need something. We have to be careful planning events. So when we hear senior sunrise, we sure hope it's a Zoom senior sunrise and not a physical senior sunrise. That's not safe for kids right now, no question at all. But yes, we will get those activities to kids as soon as we can.
Thank you.
And leadership, leadership is all over this stuff. So student leadership will also be planning some events for not just our seniors, but all of our kids. Because if you'll remember in the presentation, that was old high school, and it doesn't mean we won't have that again, but we certainly don't have that now. So we're rebuilding what we can, and I can't help but think there's some positive in having to regroup on some of these things and really meet the needs of kids.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Kaylee Sendejas.
Okay, hello. Good afternoon. I just had one question for all of us, the migration students. Like, you guys said that the schedules are gonna be the same as last year's when the coronavirus, everything started, but we weren't here in that time. We came back until April. So what's gonna happen with our schedules?
So the schedules aren't the same as last year. There are new schedules, but if you're enrolled in school, you will get a schedule of all of your classes that you need, and you will go to all of those classes or do work for all of those classes every day.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Okay, next up we have Jess Johnson.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I was wondering, so I'm going to be a junior next year incoming, and I was wondering about TA.
Yeah, we have, well, I mean, I could check my schedule, but not while I Zoom because I can't do those two things at once. But yeah, if you are TAing, we have a couple of things up our sleeve. Obviously, you can't really help a teacher. I'm trying to figure out if we can get some of our TAs doing some tutoring groups with some of our K-3 kiddos, you know, being online with small groups in elementary schools and helping out there. So, you know, if you're a TA, there's going to be plenty to do, but we're reworking that wheel also.
Okay, because I signed up for a TA spot and a avid tutoring, like, TA.
Right, you could still be an avid tutor for sure. You know,
Okay.
there's no reason we can't do that. So we'll see what your schedule ends up being, and then we'll provide some more information there. But don't worry, we've already thought about that too. Most of these things I like to think about at 2 in the morning or something. So yeah, we got you. Thanks.
I was supposed to be in tennis. I was wondering how that's gonna go.
So right now, athletics are on hold all over. Look at Mr. Bogalski wiggling, but I'm going to go ahead and answer this one. So DIF has said that that's not really very safe. Tennis would probably be one of the first ones to come back though. And I know that athletics are planning right now to restart training in December, athletics in January, and then we're going to see what we can do. So we will keep you informed for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Look for information from Mr. Peterson or Mr. Bogalski.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Looks like we have another question from April Sanders Hall.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. Round two. Sorry, everybody asked questions and I kind of got some more going on. So you said the classes, are they going to be through Zoom or are they supposed to be through some other form of something? Because I do know that I have had an email and I got sent to this site and I tried to sign on. They said the link and I've communicated with the person multiple times and it's trying to say that I'm not and I don't have an account there. And they're the ones at the high school that signed me up. So I'm not sure if you're talking about classes through that site or classes through Zoom.
Sure, I'm not sure what site that would be.
It might be the Google class. It might be their students not signed up yet for a student Gmail because they're new.
It's not Gmail though. It's I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it. I've communicated multiple times. They said, oh, well, you should try now, and I emailed back and then I said, I'm sorry, it's telling me that we don't have an account, and so it was through the school.
Yeah, I think you should work with Brenda in the front office and find out what's going on with that.
But I didn't catch the name, Brenda.
Yeah. So do you want her email or phone number or address?
Email's fine.
Okay, email. B, and then it's Percival, Percival, at dixonusd.org.
Okay.
She can get that all figured out for you.
Okay. And then also, you said you keep saying schedule, but does schedule mean like the directions on everything, or just this class, this time, or is it like the entire directions, like the schedule on what to do fully on?
It can mean both things, and I'm probably using the same word for 3 or 4 things, which is probably a problem. So we have a bell schedule at Dixon High School, even though you'll be at home, and unless you live really close, you won't hear bells. So the bell schedule indicates when 0 period, 1st period, 2nd period, 3rd period, 4th period, etc. occurs. Your student will also have a schedule of classes for those different periods.
Okay.
Right, and then there's the schedule of the calendar, which is, you know, a whole other thing. We will get all of those things to you.
Okay, and so when they do their classes, it'll be through that, the thing that the high school is supposed to set up for us, not Zoom.
You will engage with teachers sometimes through Zoom. Teachers don't have to use Zoom. They could use Google Meets or some other media. But yes, there is a portion of the day where they will be expected to engage with their teacher through one of those platforms.
Okay, and so is that platform that they're trying to set up like Aries or?
No, that's something different. Those individual class platforms are not set up yet.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, next up we have Rebecca Valentino.
I just want to know if there's someone I can contact directly regarding technology questions rather than, you know, ask a bunch of questions here.
Okay. Are you talking about technology like internet in your house, or are you talking about a computer or how to work the computer?
Yeah, internet in my house. Grandparents want to buy a computer for her, but I don't, you know, just all those questions. Yeah, I've already actually contacted the district about our internet concerns.
That's who you contact. So did you email the, what is it called, closure email?
School closure.
No,
Yes.
I just called the district office.
Okay, I would go to the website and email the school closure.
About internet, I called. Oh, right. No, so it's just about what you know, computer questions at this point. So.
Right. So I would express
because
your
I
concern.
know that you will provide a Chromebook. I'm not worried about it. Because her grandparents want to get her a computer, and I don't know the first thing about them.
So email your concerns.
I just want to be rather just a. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. And if that doesn't work, or you can email us at school, and we'll set you up with the right person too, or call us if that's easier.
All right, next up we have Alicia Gutierrez.
Thank you again. Sorry, I have one more quick question for you guys. So the first day of school, piggybacking on what April said about technology and which portal or they're going to be using, will we get in our packet or our class schedules, will we be able to get how to log in for the first day, who will be logging in for, sorry, my big doggy wants to go for a walk. Will we get all of those instructions to begin the day ahead of time, or know where to start since they're not walking into a building?
And remember, the first day of school is that Monday where there's no scheduled structured classes. So our goal is to make sure that you have what you need that by that day at the latest, so that you can engage with teachers and specifically engage with teachers by class period beginning on Tuesday.
Okay, so we'll have those instructions, what to do, where to go, and what time to begin.
My plan is for you to have those instructions. We've never done this before, so yeah, that's my plan.
Like one place that the students all show up to say, okay, what do we do today now, until we get the ball rolling?
Well, they're not going to show up here. But there will be instructions that we send home, which is why it's really important that those emails are up and running before then. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next question is from Jess Johnson.
Hi. Okay, so I have another question. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's about the parent and student home link, I believe it is. What is the difference between those?
I'm not sure there is a difference.
Okay.
I think they're the same, and we really encourage your students to appropriately, and we will talk about this at parent nights. We'll talk about, trust me, between Mr. Pagalski, Ms. West, and I, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teenagers or young adults already. And every one of, I mean, not the three, we don't all live in the same house, but you know, all of us, and they are all unique and different and wonderful and a pain in the butt in different ways. So we will have some parent nights on how to monitor your kids' grades and how your students should monitor those grades, and where you need to monitor more because they're monitoring less, or when you need to actually have that one kid that you need to undo from monitoring because they're stressing themselves out. So we will absolutely provide a parent night about how to manage that, but it's great if your kid sees it, and it's great if you see it.
Okay, because she got information on emails about it, and she tried setting it up, but it didn't quite go through, I'm guessing.
Okay, then wait, is that your mom or are you the kid? Which one?
I'm the kid. I'm talking.
Your mom didn't work it. Yeah. So what I would do is I would make sure that your mom gives Brenda a call. I know I keep throwing Brenda out there, but she's good with it. But reach out to Brenda and see what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Arlene iPhone.
Arlene just got muted instead of unmuted. Hi, Arlene.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi. I just have a quick question. You know, if you already have HomeLink and you already were able to check the grades for your kid when he was in CA Jacobs, does it transfer everything to high school?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, we have April Sanders Hall.
Okay, I don't really have any more questions round 3, but I saw there was no more hands up. So I just really wanted to thank you guys so much for being so open to answering everything that all the parents had. I feel like coming out after this, it's a lot more, clear on everything that's going on. And I feel like maybe our questions are a little too premature because you have a lot more information coming out from this point to the time that classes start. So I really appreciate and just want to thank all the teachers and the staff and the faculty for everything that they do to try to get this on, because I know it's super difficult. It's difficult for me as a parent who doesn't do much with online. I'm a student myself at the college, and I usually drop my kids off at school and then I go to the school to do it. And now we're all at home doing it all online, and I'm definitely not used to doing it. So I really, really, really understand how hard it is. And I know a lot of staff and faculty and teachers have children of their own. So it's very difficult to try to educate other children while educating your own at home. It's very difficult. So I just wanted to throw out my appreciation for everything going on and for answering my questions, since there was no hands up.
So I do want to respond to that. And you mentioned that, your questions might be premature. They are not. And I want to speak for our whole team here, and you're probably going to see Ms. West go like this. We want you, my analogy, maybe, tomorrow there's me like, oh my God, did you hear go on about football? But that analogy of you being your player's agent, we're very serious about that. You need to advocate, especially as we learn and grow together. You need to advocate for your student and your family. We can't help you if we don't know what's going on. And then I know there are a million questions, and I hope I didn't seem dismissive with any of those questions. And I hope you're all writing them down, because you will have more. And we will have many opportunities to come together and get those questions answered. But I'm also going to be the first person to tell you, this is very new for me. What I just don't know. I mean, there are things I just don't know. And I think I'm trying to take that as good practice and a learning experience for myself. I like to know everything typically, and I'm having to get used to saying, I just don't know, and oops, that didn't work, and things that, you know, maybe it's a lesson that I'm supposed to learn. So we will be in this together, and really these kids are doing the work. So whatever we can do together to support them is what we need to do, for sure.
All right, next we have a question from Chanel Pagano.
Hi, I have a couple small questions, and I apologize if they've already been asked. My first question is, how do we update contact information? We currently just moved, and so I would like to update our address.
Okay, Audrey, do you know that answer?
So that would be also Brenda.
Oh, you're Brenda.
Or myself, but Brenda mostly handles that contact updating. So if you want to email Brenda.
Can I just call in and change it, or is that something you have to like fill out a form?
So we do have the emergency contact forms that normally go out at the beginning of the year, where we ask you to fill out, to check over students' emergency forms. So we haven't quite yet discussed how we're going to do that this year. So.
Okay.
In the meantime, go ahead and email Brenda. She'll fix it.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question would be for the computers. Have you guys set up a pickup? Will those be distributed before school starts or after?
So they will definitely be distributed before school starts. They are distributed by the tech department, who's working really hard to get that ready. And I don't know yet if they're going to be distributed at the district office or on site, but they will be distributed, and we will get that information to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And we have another hand from Jess Johnson.
Okay, I was wondering how the A and B scheduling would work.
Oh, Jess, that's going to be really hard to tell you without showing you. Were you here when I talked about double days and how parents look at the orientation? Yeah, it's going to be like that, but it's going to make way more sense when you do it, I promise. But the way it's going to work, well, gosh, I don't know if I want to go there. So every period, half the kids will be A and half the kids will be B. So if you imagine a class having 30 kids, 15 would be A, 15 would be B, right?
Okay.
So on a given day, half of the kids go to each class. Just let's leave it at that. So it keeps the numbers down. So teachers aren't trying to Zoom with 30 kids. If they're Zooming, they're working with 15 at a time or instructing fewer kids at a time.
So are we going to be doing the half the kids independent and half the kids Zoom, or half the kids in actual classes?
Well, so the actual classes may very well be Zoom, but the teachers will be online with half the kids at a time, and the other half of the kids will be working independently, not checked in with that teacher right then. But they switch off at half the day. So every day you will be online with half of your teachers and working independently with the other half of your teachers, and it will flip-flop every day.
So it's like double day, but
no, because it's still single periods. It's all
well, yeah, but like kind of like that structuring of like back and forth classes of like first period, second period, like on 2 separate days, kind of thing.
4, 6, 1, 3, 5.
Yeah.
I think she's saying because it's like 1, 3, 5 versus 2, 4, 6. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
It's not like that. You're still going to go 0 through 6. It's hard for me to say because you might not have a 0 through 6, but let's say you did.
Yeah.
And you're in an A group, then on Tuesday, Thursday, you would go online with the teacher for periods 0, 1, 2, and 3. In the afternoon, you'd work on periods 4, 5, and 6 independently. And the B kids would do the opposite schedule. They would be independent 0 through 3, and then they would be with their teacher 4 through 6. And then it flip-flops Wednesday and Friday. It sounds
Okay,
weird.
I understand that.
It is kind of weird, but it will work. It will make more sense when we just do it, Jess.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Caprice Han.
Hi, Caprice. Did she hide?
Oh.
Oh. There she is down there. Hi, Caprice. She's muted, Audrey.
Okay, there I am. Okay.
Hi, Caprice.
Hi, Steph. Okay, so when the kids first log into their computer, every year, no one ever remembers their password. So are they all going to be reset at the beginning of the year? Or is Brenda going to have to do all?
Oh, that's a really good question.
That's a tech question.
Is there anybody here that could answer it?
No.
No. Caprice, that is a really good question. I saw Audrey write it down. We will find out that answer, and that would be great to do. What a great idea. Thank you. You should
Because
work
I've been there way too many times where
Yeah.
you're trying to get started. Yeah.
That's a really, really good point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, I do not see any more hands up. Does anyone else have a question?
All right, everybody. We are still available. We will be here for you all the time. It's really going to take all of us to get these kids through this and ourselves. I want to thank you all for taking the time tonight to meet with me. I see some really friendly faces and some familiar names and some new names, and I'm happy to meet you all. Thank you for coming. Have a good night.
I'm staying on.
Why? No.
Did you see what happened in my backyard?
Me too.
Did you?
Hold on, there's still people here, folks.
Well, it's not bad. I just was curious if you saw what happened in my backyard.
What happened to your backyard?
Some crazy,
Hi, Leah.
some crazy poodle came and jumped in my lap. And then I'm like, what the heck? And then this old lady with like a cane and a mask, and she's like, is my dog back here? I'm like, what is going on?
Was that during her meeting?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else saw her, but she was like walking around, and the dog it was running around in like through my lap around my yard, and this lady in this pink outfit was trying to chase it.
We still have 52 parents here. Hi, everybody. This is how we roll at Dixon High School. I'm so self-centered, I missed it. Sorry. I bet Bob did too.
Hey, Steve, I'm gonna log off, but I just wanted to say you did an excellent job and you set the bar so high for C.A. Jacobs. So,
Hi, Connor.
It was good watching you, and it definitely informed me. So hopefully we'll have an equally great turnout next week. But congratulations, you guys did an amazing job.
Thank you for coming.
Good luck
Welcome
next
aboard.
week. Yeah, good
Bye.
luck.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
All right, I guess I'll go.
Yeah, go get that lady.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
And we're still recording stuff.
I got it.
Do you want to just end and call, Bob? Because it's going to be on the recording then.